Some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The clip you just watched was the late night show host Jimmy Kimmel. He was suspended over it, sparking outrage amongst other late night show hosts and celebrities. Kimmel's return after just a week to the air was watched by 6.3 million viewers, more than tripling its normal TV viewership. It's clear people wanted him back, but this sparked an even bigger discussion that falls in line with free speech. So our first conversation was about the government pressuring organizations to censor COVID material. Do you guys, in short, and give me this short so we can keep it flowing here, believe that the government should manage what can or cannot be said? COVID or not,
to an extent.
Okay.
To an extent, yeah. Yes.
It's not a yes or no. It's
okay.
Not, yeah.
So what about companies, private companies, like the one that owns Jimmy Kimmel's show?
I think, and being like a business owner, if I want to implement certain things that my employees are allowed to say or do or talk about while they're working for my company, I have every right to do so. So I do think that as like a corporation, they have the ability to censor things.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you, whether you agree with them or not?
Yes.
Okay. So was Jimmy Kimmel's suspension an attack on free speech or just a decision by a company to take him out because they didn't like what he said?
I think it was an attack on free speech. And it goes to where the limit from free speech to what's unacceptable is. And he did advocate for violence. He didn't support the murder. He was essentially criticizing the government and the administration and their response to it. And in that context, he shouldn't have been censored for his beliefs. And it's curious how a lot of people who are free speech warriors supported it. It's like free speech for me.
Well, because they didn't like, I don't think that's fair either. I guess my question though, Mustafa, goes to, like, my head goes to, well, hold on a second. This is a private company. It'd be no different if the network didn't like what I said. Are they censoring me or are they just not liking what I said? I said something that was maybe coming across as insensitive and they just took me off because it was a bad rep for the network. Because at the time it was, and the two companies that distribute a lot of ABC stuff, especially Jimmy Kimmel's show, said they wouldn't air it. So it wasn't even ABC that was saying this.
Yeah, no, I can sort of correlate with what my friends are saying here. If we are living in a society which embraces free speech, like in the United States, I can see where the critics are coming from because you shouldn't be inciting violence. Because I feel like that's where you should draw the line. As long as an individual is not inciting violence, that's where we can sort of, draw the line.
But that's a very finicky line within itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at like January 6th, there's a lot of debate on whether that was inciting violence or not. At the White House, also Jimmy Kimmel, was he inciting violence? I mean, it's subjective to a lot of people, right?
I think Jimmy was just trying to critique the opinions and the values that Charlie Kirk stood for, not to embrace violence of killing people with different opinions. Whereas Jan 6 was an attack on your laws, your principles, and as an attack on your country. It doesn't give the United States a good picture when you have thousands of people marching into your city's capital to stand up against a democratic election that took place.
Okay, let me ask
It's a lot
this.
different.
I want to play one clip. Does anybody remember Don Cherry?
I do.
Okay, beautiful. Let's play the clip from Don Cherry.
Nobody wears, very few people wear a poppy. Downtown Toronto, forget it, downtown Toronto, nobody wears a poppy. And I'm not going to, he says, wait a minute. How about running it for the people that buy them? Now you go to the small cities and the rows on rows, you people love, they come here, whatever it is, you love our way of life, you love our milk and honey. At least you could pay a couple of bucks for poppies or something like that.
Canadian hockey broadcaster who was on air for decades, Don Cherry. How does Jimmy Kimmel compare to Don Cherry? Is it the same situation?
I like to go. I think it is the same situation. I think both were incorrect. Canada is an amazing country, amazing values, amazing systems. And so I don't think it's wrong to say that we should honor those that gave everything for it. I do think, however, he could have said it differently because it's not only newcomers that aren't patriotic. There are Canadians that aren't patriotic as well and don't honor it as well. So everyone.
Where I have a struggle with this is, I will come outright and say, I think Don said nothing wrong. He gave his opinion on air and the company that aired him just didn't like it and they got rid of him for it. I mean, I wouldn't say though that was an attack on free speech. That's where I stand.
And I completely disagree with what you're saying. I listened to what Don Cherry said and I was like, oh my goodness, are you for real that you just said those words on television? You're a hockey commentator. You have no place giving those opinions. If I don't want to wear a poppy,
Does Jimmy Kimmel have a place to give those opinions?
yeah, it's entertainment, it's pop culture, it's something that's relevant. But
But
I
you would
think
agree Jimmy was an attack on free speech?
kind of to an extent, but I also agree with the corporation makes the rules, so they have the right to pull him if they want to.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be right back. Stay tuned for more. Stay tuned.